How long? A long time, probably 30 plus years. There you go. I started out at the library in Tucson, Arizona, actually, when my first child attended kindergarten. And all I was is a volunteer parent who helped out. Went from there to Flagstaff, again, volunteer parent. But the librarian over there saw that I enjoyed being in the library and he needed a lot of help. Again, way before computers were used for this. And I just volunteered in the library, just putting books away.
My family moved to the United States when I was 8 from Germany, and I didn't speak any English. But we went to the library a lot, as kids for resources, and I did the summer reading programs.
I'm a writer. My grandmother was a librarian, and it was a dream career for me. I'd love to be a librarian, but I couldn't actually afford to go and get the schooling that I needed. Right before we moved here from Phoenix, I said, what would be amazing is if I could get a job at a library. And I went to the one ads, and the part-time position was open at this library, and the rest is history. So I got it, and this is what I should have been doing my whole life. I wish I had followed my gut and become a librarian at 20 instead of almost 50, but I'm still living the dream.
I do not come from the world of library. Prior to this, I was working as a photojournalist. My degree was in photography, but that led me to the library. I was in the library all the time, covering different programs and things for the library.
So books tell a story, they always have, as well as film can tell stories, and a photo can tell stories. You can take a photo of someone helping someone else, and that story is told of human kindness. You can make a documentary about whatever, document this, how a library is helping change the lives of the community residents here in the Verde Valley.
I've been doing technology since '99, originally in West Sedona Library and then at Klein Library or at the school district and all. And so they had a history that they knew that I had been working in technology for a long time, and training, professional development of years of working with technology is what prepared me for this position.
The joke is, oh, you work at a library, you must just read books all day. Oh no. Oh no. We get our step counts in. The changing face of library is that it's not your boring, dusty books, with someone going shh all the time. It is a living, breathing organism.
The technology here at the library, it's very community-driven, very community-focused. So we've got public computers, and we've got Chromebook and hotspot kits, individual Chromebooks, hotspots. We also have iPads for doing programs with youth. We do a lot of technology support with people with their own devices too, whether it's a smartphone or a Kindle or an iPad or their own laptop. And we do the library programs where we do some technology-based training. And then we are doing summer programs, summer reading programs. The one I did recently that was super fun was stop motion video with kids that we were originally gonna do, I think like 8 to 13, and I think we actually had 6 to 12-year-olds. And it was, I would describe it as fun chaos.
What does my day look like? My day is a day filled with adventure and hope and promise, and it is a lot of planning the library events, programs that we will have, as well as juggling the needs of the various groups who meet at the Sedona Public Library. Some days it's a normal, a normal 9 to 5. Other days like today, because it's a Monday, I'm coming in at 1 o'clock because I won't be leaving here till 9 o'clock because we have our weekly Monday movie nights where we show free movies at 6 o'clock in our Sidebridge community room for the community. And so today is the third Monday of the month, and where we will show a first run movie that just appeared recently in theaters.
The reason why STEAM is such a push is because teachers actually don't have enough time for the prep that it takes to do science, to do art education, and a lot of times arts programs are getting cut, because the funding, The science lab doesn't have any money because that funding was cut. So when I came here, I knew how short-staffed and budgeted all the schools were, and one of the first things I did, because it was COVID, was write a grant with the Science Vortex to create the S.T.E.A.M at-home learning kits, which included, it's the box of materials and then lesson plans to go with it, because the idea was for teachers to be able to check out the whole thing and do science without having to buy a bunch of materials, and they could do a bird watching unit in their classroom. And then parents who were having to teach their kids at that time at home, because nobody was going to school, they had some hands-on materials to take with them and use. So we got that grant, and it was super fun to write. I think we got 8 kits out of there, all related to science. And the reason how we got the idea was through the Arizona Science Center. There's this grant called the Leap into Science grant, which I had incorporated as a librarian, and it was just bringing in science education into libraries.
So we started back programs. Programs were discontinued during the pandemic. And when I came on board full-time as the technology librarian, when we decided that we could offer programs, I started offering programs. And we do have an older population, and they are more prone to come in. So the first one was computer safety basics, talking about how to protect yourself, how not to just click that link and follow that pop-up that says your computer's been compromised, give us access so that we can, fix it and save you, whatever those messages say. And so education about be smart. You're your own first line of defense, and here, let me give you some tools to learn or tools and some instruction on how to protect yourself.
A library should be loud and active and full of things going on. Hey, I want to eat bugs because I heard they're a different kind of protein source. How do I do that? The library's having a program about it. It's gonna happen. I'm saying it out loud to manifest it. So I just think it's cool that if a library can just bring different things that people would not think about or would want to try out but didn't know how to, that they can come to the library and do it, and it's free especially, is a wonderful thing.
There's some bad press right now relating to like some, school libraries, and they're kind of under scrutiny about things that they're ordering for their patrons, whether it's a public library or a school library. So, people that want to ban books or not have certain topics in the collection. I just try to, build the collection for all. It's a public library. And if a person has a problem with a book or an author, and I tell them you don't need to check it out.
As far as the public, again, using that term professional development, I learn something new pretty much every day. Somebody gets a new smartphone, a new iPhone, say, for example. I've had a lot of questions about that. And the patron, they can make appointments with me. I have time available both at this branch and at the village branch to work one-on-one with people. And they'll bring me their smartphone, and some of them are like really new. I've never even seen it before, and they don't really know how to use it. So it's usually a case of, can I take a look at it? Can I play with this a little bit first? And then we figure things out together. And it's a big part of my job, and it's a fun part of my job. And then as far as our own equipment, it's kind of trying to be proactive and think about what are our future needs. Like right now, I'm working on a 1 to 3 year technology plan, and thinking about what kind of things are people going to want to use. We're definitely going to smaller, lighter things that people can check out, increasing the number of Chromebooks and hotspots, that kind of thing. Trying to be a resource for the community. And watching what people are using, and also trying to figure out how can we expand our services to bring in different generations. Right now we see a certain population that comes in more than younger. So how do we make it more of a space for everybody in the community?
By trade, I'm a graphic designer. I'm also an artist. So I'm also, for those that don't know, I'm a cartoonist when I'm not at the library. But I've also been in a lot of positions where it's a lot of front-facing customer service. So I think that my customer service skills are pretty good. It's always just asking, what do you need? How can I help you? Let me help you with that. Just listening to what the patron needs. So that's, as a program marketing coordinator, customer service skills are great, so being able to interact with your public. Multitasking is a wonderful skill to have, and you develop it over years and years of just having to multitask and do different things at the same time, and kind of just having to think a week or two ahead of what's happening now so that you know what's going on. My days, basically, a lot of my mornings are spent looking at a calendar, and I laugh at every job that I've had since I moved to Arizona almost 8 years ago. I'm studying a calendar, whether it's I'm studying the schedule of when Jeep tours are coming in, coming out, or when's the production deadline for newspapers, or when scheduling of just what programs are happening in the teen area versus the library schedule versus now what's going on every hour on the hour, day to day at this library.
I have been fortunate to be happy in my employment pretty much since '99. And if I got to the point where I wasn't happy in it, then I found some other, and it's all been pretty much technology. And I think the thing why I'm happy in technology is it changes, having to push myself to accomplish more or to figure out a better way to do things. And libraries are a great place to do that because we're constantly trying to adapt to the changing world.
So I worked with the Yavapai Broadcasting for 11 years. What led me here was the opportunity to really teach someone this stuff, how to film. It's, you watch a movie and you go, well, I can never do that. Well, you can. It just takes ambition, willingness to learn, and just messing around with it and playing around and doing it.
I have been the director at the Cottonwood Public Library for 4.5 years now. No day is the same. Everything's different. Every day is a new challenge. I could be anywhere from on the floor helping a patron with a print job, like I was just before I got here, to forecasting and looking at our strategic plan and making sure that we're nailing all of the items on our strategic plan. So it's vastly different. I will need to do some budgeting this afternoon. I will also be working with personnel, helping guide them for what they need to do to meet their goals and create their tasks. So every day is a different challenge. Every day is new, but I do everything from sweep the broom to make sure that the library is represented in our community, and specifically with the city of Cottonwood, that our library has a seat at the table when it comes to budget conversations, when it comes to making sure that we're involved in planning and involved in this community. That's probably my #1 job.
A library assistant does all the extra stuff. So my days are extremely varied. I come in the morning, I get the place open and ready for business, and then I just take what comes. If a book is damaged, I track it down. If a patron is missing something or having a problem, I find the resources that they need for help. I book meeting rooms and help people arrange programming in the library and try to connect as many community resources as possible.
I actually have a large patron base made of people that are not in traditional school. And as soon as things started catching on here, they began coming. So now that window to get my side work done has closed. I usually have teams coming in at 11 o'clock, sometimes earlier, and now that summer's on, now that summer is here, the teams come in droves almost constantly. And then we have a strange quiet day, like today is a quiet day, which is perfect for us, but they're rare.
So we have some mics already. We have some really nice cameras, as well as even still Canon cameras as well. The equipment right now is a little bit of a first come, first serve. It's checked out to users, so anyone with a library card who wants to grab this equipment and do whatever they want, they can film whatever short film, you know, kids playing in the backyard, whatever, and then film it. And if they would like to come in and use our Creation Center, we have 4 computers, all suited with the latest version of Adobe Creative Cloud, and Adobe Premiere, After Effects, Photoshop, Audition, so they can really make that family movie or short film that they're looking to do into their own personal project and make it shine.
We have a lot more fun stuff for kids to be able to check out, to explore STEAM, science and engineering and technology, because we realize this is the way of the future. Everyone needs to be comfortable working with these things. And so we're able to introduce it to kids at a very young age now with STEAM kits and technology that they can check out, take home, and play with, whereas 10 years ago that would have been unheard of. You would never check out something expensive like that. It wasn't, even if we had it. So that's something that's changed a lot. We're able to make it so much more available for patrons. We're able to have computers for people to check out and take home, Wi-Fi hotspots for people to work from home or homeschool. So those are really exciting advances in library technology.
I feel like the system that we have here is very cutting edge. We do have 4K cameras downstairs. We have 4 very high-end Alienware PCs. They're top of the line. They got, I believe, funded through a grant. We have a Canon 4000 DSLR camera with a very nice lens on it, where we also can get very macro and very with a fisheye lens as well. So very adaptive in that way, where if you want to go out and take beautiful shots of a bee on a flower, we have those macro lenses to really get close in, and so you can really kind of see that stuff. As well as the 4K cameras are really nice, and it's 4K. It's 4K, for now, better terms, I feel is standard. How 720 was, then 1080, 4K I feel is more standard, and then soon to be 8K.
I have a teen-led library. That was really important to me when I started, that the teens would make all the executive decisions. So once I had brought them here and we'd sort of gelled as a group, I started a teen council. But the council isn't the only group here that makes decisions. We run everything by the 15 to 20, sometimes more regulars that we have. We make decisions together. So the programming is really what they've asked for, which includes my most popular program, which I've talked about a lot of times. I was really excited when I started it. It's Cookies and Complaining. We eat cookies, we complain, advice optional, that's it. And that has gone from minor grievances to deep, hour-long, heartfelt discussions between the teens that never leave the room. I've never heard them carry any stories out. So things start as one thing and they turn into another thing, and it's based on the needs of this community that we serve.
So the strategic plan that we implemented was just pre-pandemic. So it's been interesting, but I wanted to take the job because I love the idea of creating a strategic plan for our library. What that involved was surveying our public, surveying our patrons, but the goal was doing one-on-one interviews with members of our community, letting them know about the services that the library has, also trying to figure out where the gaps are for what they wanted to do and how we could fill those gaps. A lot of what I heard was just opportunity. Opportunity for our kids, opportunity for our people, opportunity for our community. So opportunity's broad. It's big, but it also allows us the flexibility to kind of see where we can create opportunity. So we're doing a field trip for the summer reading program down to the aquarium in Scottsdale. Those are types of things that you probably wouldn't traditionally figure comes from your library. What you're doing here today is not something that you'd figure traditionally comes from your public library, but we're doing really great, really neat things, providing opportunities for people. This room is a great opportunity for our kids who don't have access to the technology that maybe that other folks do, to be able to create, and it's also creating opportunities. So the strategic plan, and then also the city of Cottonwood has a strategic plan, and we wanted to be a part of that too. We want to make sure that we're included in that process, and we are, and we've got goals that we need to achieve based off of standards from the highest level of our organization, which is a lot of responsibility, but also fantastic. If you're not there, you're easier to be pushed aside.
It was important that I got the background, and that's where it started. I learned how to use a library without computers. But what the computers has done is given us a tool to access information a lot easier, a lot quicker, and provide great customer service. So it's evolved from checking books in and out. Instead of writing everything on a little card, now we can actually produce a receipt for patrons, and they're really happy about that. As far as finding things, I'm real good at finding things without a computer because I've got the background from that. But computers have helped us make it easier for patrons to find what they're looking for, which is very, very important. The technology has also helped people able to access things quicker, come into the library and use like our self-checkout machine without having to stand in line and wait till one of us is free to help them out. So it's been a great transition.
To be a teen librarian, which actually on paper is library specialist for the teen library, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. You have to curate your collection, so that's ordering books, weeding out books that don't circulate, listening to your patrons, what they want, what they're requesting. Programming is a thing, and oftentimes it can be the hardest thing because what you think is cool and exciting and interesting might not be what your patrons think is cool and exciting and interesting. You are a person that's in a very unique position. And what I mean by that is you are not their parent, you are not their teacher, and you are not their coach, but you are a trusted adult that is somebody that they can talk to. So to me, being a teen librarian means being a safe person that they can talk to when they need. I am very casual with my kids. They call me Zach. They do not call me Mr. Garcia. That is not, that's just strange to me. And it's cool being able to be a role model, somebody that they can, either ask advice or look up to maybe, I don't know. But those are some of the things that it means to be a teen librarian.
So basically what I do for the library is I'm in charge of collection development. So anything that comes in and out of our library goes through my hands first, whether it's from labeling, RFID tagging, collection development, finding books, finding what's new, what's popular. Interlibrary loans, I'm sending books all over the United States pretty much in our OCLC system for filling holds that are maybe out of Yavapai County, but also we're still able to utilize our services in other states. I think that that's awesome.
So what it means to be a volunteer coordinator at a library, and this particular library, means that I am recruiting people often for volunteer service, but then I'm also managing a large contingent of current volunteers. We have 35 volunteers on the books currently. Some of those are in the library on a regular basis. Some of those are just special event volunteers. So that means managing, but what that really means is communicating, interacting with people. So that's what being a volunteer coordinator means to me. Just meeting people, doing outreach is actually what it is. That's how I think of it. I start a conversation with anybody. I start conversations with people in grocery stores and in lines. That's always kind of what I do. So it's a great way to meet people as well.
Let me just give you guys like a rundown of what it is that I do and how I go about what I do. So basically these are our item IDs. They go on books, DVDs, playaways, children's books. Anything that comes in and out of our system requires an item ID just to be able to go in our system, which is workflows. That's what I have up here. So RFID stands for radio frequency identification. One of the item IDs get attached to one of the RFIDs, and that's how we determine which book it is and which record goes accordingly to that specific RFID tag. Our RFID tagger is here. Normally, I'll do that last when I have all of our stuff in our system. I'll go through and make sure that they're tagged together with the right item ID, RFID tag. This here is our new Zebra printer. The Dymo printer here is for basically just for donut labels, for DVDs, CDs, anything that requires those. This here is our book cover. That's an automatic system. Put this here. So basically what you want to do is you want to just line the book up to where it's evenly, and then we can hold the button down and it cuts it. And then we'll flip this part in the back of the book. And then there we have it, a covered book. Took all but 5 seconds. So this is our Dymo label setup. This is our Cert Tag Programmer, which is another thing that I use. The Zebra label maker workflows. So I'm constantly doing at least 5 to 6 different things at once, just for one book, one record, one bib record. So just keeping that in mind, I deal with the teens, I deal with the children, all the adult CDs, DVDs. So that's basically a rundown of what it is that I do and what I get done here.
For one of the summer reading programs, a handful of teens and myself built a 3D printer. So you can buy them already fully assembled, but we wanted the actual assembly to be part of the program, and we did, and it works, which is awesome. It didn't immediately catch fire when we turned it on, which was a success. I enjoy that it's a tool that our library has. We have used it internally a lot. I would like to get it to the point where the public can use it.
As a volunteer coordinator, I love our get-togethers. I love when I match a volunteer to an area that they are excelling in, that they enjoy, that they are learning, because we want our volunteers to not necessarily just have busy work. We want them to feel fulfilled. We want them to feel necessary.
Volunteer, if you can. I know every librarian you ask will say volunteer. We need volunteers. We don't work without volunteers. Volunteers carry the library. They're very, very important.
Was it easy? Absolutely not. But I have a passion for this field, and so I knew that I had to keep growing with what's going on, and it keeps growing, it keeps changing.
Don't be afraid of change. It would be my biggest thing. Get outside your comfort zone would be a big thing. But as well as if you find something you're passionate about, bring that to the table.
I think that supporting libraries is one of the most important things we can do to have strong communities.
Patience, listening, making sure that you understand, working in a library, those are all big parts.
Libraries are one of the last places that you can go and exist and use and not be expected to spend any money. Those spaces are few and far between in our world, and libraries are it. They're awesome, so go to your library.
I think public libraries there's something that's left for the public and for all. So I like being part of that.
Listen, everybody's busy. I understand. We all understand. Just visit your library. See what programs they are offering. Understand what they're actually doing for your community.
Get to know your surroundings, your community, the people that come in and out, our patrons.
You have to picture from the top down everyone that makes a community. The more we have at our disposal, the better we can serve the community.
The library it's the community center, and it's usually the one part of local government that most people are happy to be in 90% of the time. No offense, but no one is skipping to pay their water bill.
Things like this project are going to help put all of our libraries on the map because it is something that is not traditional, and all of our libraries need to accept that we can't just be traditional, we have to be brave.